Okay, so a couple of you are messaging me saying you don't understand Pythagoras. I tried in my first video to give a really detailed explanation of why the Pythagoras formula is what it is, and now it's maybe just time to accept, let's learn the method and just go with the method. Okay, there's really only 3 steps to it, so I'm going to talk you through some more fully worked examples. So remember, for all of these we are using that formula of c squared equals a squared plus b squared. And then what we're really doing is we're substituting in a number for a number for b, and doing a wee bit of maths. So let's look at my 4 examples. First one, the sides in triangle are 7 and 10. I want the slope. So you're working is x squared equals, take the 7 and the 10, square them and add them. Doesn't matter which way around you put the 7 and the 10, as long as you square them and add them. Now don't bother going writing down that 7 squared equals 49, 10 squared equals 100. Go straight to your calculator, find that button that says x squared and type 7x squared plus 10x squared equals, and it'll just give you the answer of 149. Now that is what this side is when you square it. We need to do the opposite, so we square root that number, and that's that big tick that goes around it. Okay, and then you go to your calculator and you hit square root button, so that's the one that looks like a big tick with a blank box under it. You hit square root button, 149 equals, you get a big long number, but I want to 2 decimal places, so it gives us that to 2 decimal places. Okay, another wee trick is, see when you still had that 149 in your calculator, you could just press square root and then you've got a button that says ANS. Try that, will you? On an example for me. Try hitting square root ANS equals. Now that's only if you haven't pressed clear on your calculator. So there's one. Here's my next one. The numbers in the triangle are 12 and 17, so we put them straight into the formula. X squared equals 12 squared plus 17 squared. Again, you don't have to write out that that's 144 plus whatever. I don't even know what 17 squared is off the top of my head. You don't need to, because you've got a calculator. So type in 12 squared plus 17 squared, you get the number 433. Now that is what your long side is when it is squared. To undo that, we have to square root it. So that's when you put the big tick around it. And the final line is you go to your calculator, you hit square root of your 433, and you get an answer of 20.808, so that goes to 81 centimetres, and that's to 2 decimal places. Now I'm not doing anything here in my head. My calculator is doing this sum here for me. My calculator is doing that sum there for me. I don't know the square root of 143. I know it's roughly 20, but I don't know what the answer is. The calculator is doing it, and I maybe didn't make that clear enough in one of my other videos. Here's another one. So it's got a 6 and a 13 in the triangle. So we're going to do x squared equals 6 squared plus 13 squared. Okay, you're going to go to your calculator and work out what that is. So let your calculator do the working. 6 squared button plus 13 squared button. Press equals, and it gives you 205. Now 205 isn't my answer. Remember, I've still to square root that. So we do square root of 205, which is, when you type into your calculator, square root 205 or square root answer button equals 14.317, so that goes to 32 centimetres to 2 decimal places. Okay, let's do one more. Right, this one, bigger numbers. The triangle is slightly turned. If you want to, I can turn it like that for you. Either way, that's the slope we're working out there still. It's the side opposite the right angle that we're after. So it's still the same working. X squared equals, take your 2 numbers and square them. 30 squared plus 22 squared. Go work that out in your calculator. Remember to type it in. It's 30 x squared button plus 22 x squared button. And it gives you 1384. And then you have to take the square root of that. So that's when you hit the square root button. Either type the number in or do square root of your answer, as long as you haven't cleared your calculator. And it gives you 37.8 0.202, so that's going to go to 20 on its millimetres this time, to 2 decimal places. Okay, so to put this simply, step 1, right, so you've got 4 lines of working. The first line of working is saying x squared equals whatever your 2 numbers are in there. Don't know what they are, okay? Second line is saying x squared equals whatever that answer is. And I'm just going to write answer for short. Third line is taking the square root of that answer. And then the final line is your answer to 2 decimal places. Okay? Is as simple as I can make it, folks. There are your 4 lines of work and your 4 steps. Square and add, get your answer. Square root it, get your answer. Even if you don't understand why this was from the proof of how that formula came about, it doesn't matter as long as you can learn that process, and practice makes perfect.